What's going on, Justin? I just wanted to say thank you so much for your message. Man, your gratitude and support and encouragement is absolutely amazing, and that is exactly why I do this channel. So I wanted to just take this minute to say thank you so much back, and to give you a couple more pointers to help you on your framed journey. When you're doing frame staples or frame aliens or whatever the hell the frame is. My biggest suggestion is something I didn't do when I started that I wish I had. Start small. Start with 2 or 3 pieces of ribbon wire in the middle. The smaller it is, the easier it's going to be to learn. Once you get those basic principles down, it'll be easier for you to expand and grow from there. Smaller wire is going to be much more difficult to wrap with, so make it as easy as you can for yourself. All my ribbon wire is prepped out already, but I wish I could show you. Wait, do I have ribbon? No, I don't. Okay. So when you're prepping your ribbon wire, the better you prep your wire, the more successful and cleaner your builds are going to look. So make sure your ribbon is very straight and very clean. And when you're cutting it, I can't emphasize this enough, make sure your cuts are nice and clean and not bent or janky, jagged, anything like that. One big tip that I normally don't do, but it does work. If you use some sort of moisture, right? You can do the spit or do the little water trick or whatever. But before you start trying to get your ribbon stacked, take your fingers and just kind of go down the ribbon with a little bit of water, and that does help them to adhere. It creates a bond. My 2-year-old's freaking out. I don't know what's going on with it. That's going to help your ribbon stay together. Another way you can try to put these staples together, here, I'll do it with you, right? Let me grab some ribbon here. Instead of cutting each individual piece, all right, here's how I do mine, right? My frames will be 10 inches, give or take, and my ribbon I will cut to 9 inches. Instead of doing that, what you can do is you can take 2 18-inch pieces and do the fold over method. I'm assuming you're working with swivels, so that's how I'm going to show you. If you're not, I highly recommend invest in the swivels. So here's our 2 pieces of ribbon. So when I fold this together, it's going to make 4 pieces, which is where I recommend you start instead of anything more. I need my 26 frames too. I'm just gonna take the 2 pieces loosely together and lightly pull them through, and I'll line them up here. Now don't push them, don't put any pressure, don't bend them or kink them. So I want to line up the ends, obviously, just so they're equal. I'm not trying to stack them yet. I'm going to go down to where the swivel is. And this is where I'm going to pay attention right now as far as getting them stacked. So actually they pretty much stacked by themselves a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and pinch it to kind of give it the shape I need. So I'm gonna do the lick and stick a little bit, come down. So here's my swivel. I'm gonna pinch this way. I'm gonna pinch the opposing direction vertically. And I'm kind of just gonna pinch and pull, lick a little more, pinch and pull. And these are lined up. So this is one way to make it a little easier for yourself. Now I have my ribbon in line, so what I'll do is I'm going to add my frame now. As I said, this isn't the way that I do it, but this might help you. So all you do is you feed one of the ends of the 26 gauge frame all the way down to the end of the ribbon and then fold it over, because you know the other side is going to be the exact same. So I want to get them all in there and pinch it together. And so once it's all in, now is when I will set it up so it's all nice. And instead of starting like I do in my videos by tying the end that goes into the chuck first, we're going to tie the end that's at the swivel first. So same thing, grabbing a spare little piece of alien here. And at the end, I'm just going to pinch in opposing directions as always, and I'll tie it. You can also use the glue stick method where you take some glue and glue it together. That works. The little spare piece is just much more time efficient, and you know, if you're using the glue, that's just one more thing you gotta buy and keep somewhere. And I mean, if you look around, I got enough shit. So alright, so there's my first one. I'm gonna clip it. I'm gonna make a slider in the middle. It's a little support wrap. You can use it as a slider to slide it down as you're going along. I have a hard time here. So all you need to do, once you get it lined up at the swivel, all you need to do is pinch and pull, and it should stay in line. Make sure you're pinching nice and tight as you put your wraps on. And as long as you're keeping it in line while you're wrapping it, it should stay once you take your fingers off. Now don't worry if it looks a little janky and doesn't look exactly in line. As you wrap it, as long as it's, well, most of the time, as long as you're wrapping it correctly, everything will fall in line. But you just got to pay attention as you're wrapping it to make sure. Make sure the tie next to the swivel is very tight. Mine just came floating down the rod on me. Pinch and pull to the end. I'm going to wrap it nice and tight. Give it a little snip. And then I'm going to cut the excess off. Go ahead and insert it into the chuck. As always, make sure nothing gets bent out of shape as you're putting this in the chuck. This is also where the glue stick would work really well. If you cover the tip that's going to be inserted into the chuck, cover that in glue, and that will make sure that as you're clamping it down, A, everything is going to get clamped nice and centered inside the chuck, and B, it'll help keep everything in shape and from getting all bent out of shape. So make sure it's nice and tight and not going anywhere. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Let's see, what should I do? I'm going to do it in 36 gauge nichrome. Whatever you need to do to get this anchored, just go ahead and do that. Just get your wire anchored in there. Just make sure everything's laying right as you start. I'm looking pretty good. You can always take a pair of your toothless pliers and just give it a little crimp to make sure everything's gonna stay nice. And then go ahead, go slow. If you need to, start slow, because then you can back it up. You know, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Being fast doesn't make you a good builder. there we go. There's our staple coil. Now, the benefit of starting with the 4 ribbon core is that you can get this to ohm at like 0.12. That way you can put it in a regulated device. I think like 6 wraps on a 3mm would get you around 0.10, 0.12. Justin, here is your frame staple. You are welcome, and thank you so much for the email. That's the kind of stuff that keeps me going. So I just wanted to make this video as a thank you for you, Justin. I hope this helps. So when you see this, if you see this, send me another message with your address and everything that I'll need to ship this to you, and let me know what kind of RDA and device you plan on putting this in so I can make it work with your setup. Justin, thank you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. Thank you guys for being the best community around any channel ever. You guys are incredible. You guys are the reason that I do this, so thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.